podcast on Patreon or PayPal and receive cool perks and rad swag. Visit our page at everythingamiga.com/support.
Amiga, the first personal computer that gives you a creative edge.
Hi everybody, welcome to Amigos. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today, Aaron, we're going to be talking about Heimdall.
Is that the way you, in your head, that's the way it sounds?
You got what you need in a Heimdall.
That's the song you're using for
Yeah,
Heimdall?
It's the only song you can use for Heimdall.
Oh, man.
Carry me back to my...
Spinal Tap reference. Well, I'm going to allow it.
Aaron, it's been a long week here. It's the first real cold week we've had. So it's only fitting that we cover a Norse-inspired game like Heimdall.
Yeah, I think Ragnarok is upon us.
Yeah.
Horribly cold. I mean, we got down to like in the single digits there at night one night.
It was crazy. It went from 70 to like -2 in one day.
Yeah, I had the kid out at the park in shorts Monday afternoon, and by Tuesday, about 12 hours later, that's when it dropped to like 12.
Now,
Horrible.
allay my mind about something. You weren't one of those kids that wore shorts all year round. When you
No,
were growing up,
no,
were you?
no,
Okay.
no. I'm not one.
I've got some students like that, and they...
When I'm at home, it's all shorts all the time, if that.
Saucy.
But, you know, not when I went to school and said no.
Yeah.
And I was the kid that wore the coat a lot. You know that guy?
No.
You don't want that
You
guy
wore-
around.
Was it a trench coat? Did you look cool?
No. It was just whatever coat I was wearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite coat?
I used to have this long, like, leather duster that I got for Christmas.
Did you look like the guy from the show with the duster?
No.
The brown coats?
You know who Silent
Firefly?
Bob is?
Yeah.
I looked like a less cool version of him. Silent Blob would be a good name for what I was. But I remember when we went to Vegas, Rich had this Asian tux. They had the Bruce Lee style cool guy tux.
No. Wait, let's back up. What makes an Asian tux?
It was an Asian-inspired dress ensemble that only Rich could pull off. My buddy Rich, bald, skin bald, jet black eyebrows and beard. And then and I had one of those like dumb guy like newsy caps.
Oh.
And I had the long trench coat. So he was like, "This is like a cool guy going to Vegas with his bodyguard." That's I was the bodyguard.
Hey, bodyguards are cool.
They're not that cool. I wasn't going to guard him from nothing. He was on his own.
So, Aaron, what do you... In the Pantheon...
Yeah.
Let me think about how I want to phrase
You
this.
really hit a mental speed bump there.
In the Pantheon of fantasy settings,
Yeah.
where do you put the Vikings?
Oh, they're up there.
Right behind the Niners?
No, not this year. Actually, yeah, this year. The Viking stories. Of course, you got your Thors and your Lokis and your Odin. If you're no Marvel guy, then you're you're well familiar with it. What is this for? Oh, the cool Cup of Doom, and then you also had the cool, Valhalla and all that stuff. I know you're not. If I'm an old D&D guy, which I am, that stuff was all in the old deities and demigods book. They had a whole Norse section. Pretty cool. If it's in the deities and demigods book, it's in, as far as I'm concerned.
Did you ever have any, I know that you've cosplayed as many a character in your past.
No.
Yeah.
No. One time.
You were Hogan that one year for Halloween.
That's not cosplay. That's dressed up for Halloween.
What's different about that?
Cosplay is something you do when it's not Halloween. When you dress up for no good reason and go pretend to be somebody, that's cosplay.
Oh, okay. So what was the time that you
What
cosplayed?
were you cosplaying as when you dressed in that all green bodysuit of absolute eye death? What were you cosplaying as?
I think you just named it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very similar to that.
Tell
except
me
less
about your
repulsive.
cosplay.
Wait a minute, it was just a vampire game where I played my character.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
This was like when you went to somebody's house and it was like a party of vampires.
That's right.
Was Wilcox there?
No, he was too cowardly to go. He didn't want to embarrass himself.
Missed opportunity.
I have no such reservations, clearly.
Well, Aaron, what do you think about, what are your chances next year that you might dress up as Heimdall for Halloween?
There's a 0% chance. Heimdall's got hair, for example. He's got a better beard mustache combo than I got. He's got all the Viking accoutrement that I don't have. So I
true.
don't like it. Now some of his hired goons, I could see maybe pulling off some of them. They were
those worthless freaks.
the sword fodder that he carries around with him. They one of those guys.
I plan on going as a shipwright myself.
I can see it.
Aaron,
although after some of your boating exploits, I'm not sure that's too fitting, to be honest with you. Ship wrong.
That's true. Aaron, let's talk about what's been going on this week in the world of Dreamcatcher over at everythingamiga.com.
You know, what is that world like?
The world of Dreamcatcher?
It's full of cheesy 80s films and even cheesier games based on those films. That's his world.
True.
And then generating video and text in the most bizarre way imaginable. That's what I like about Dreamcatcher. He's all over the place. Now here's another one. Now,
this says my friend Wildy's coming.
That's right.
Okay, and then I know that this is Charles Bronson.
That's right. Also true.
But I don't really know anything about Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson is he's been around forever. A lot of people don't know it, but Charles Bronson was actually in one of the original Twilight Zones. Did you know that? He was in an episode with Elizabeth Montgomery. You know who that is?
Was she on Home Improvement?
No, she was died way before that. She was on Bewitched. She was the witch, the main star of Bewitched.
Yeah.
You know, did the little thing with her nose.
Mm-hmm.
They played basically effectively two of the last people on Earth after a major Holocaust. It's a real good episode.
Is that the one at the end? The guy drops his glasses and they.
No,
break?
you think that's every episode? Would you please watch an episode of Twilight? And you're killing me.
I know at some
Burgess
point
Meredith.
I'll fall onto the right one.
No. So Charles Bronson was he did cowboy movies. He was in a lot of that. You know, he did what a lot of those journeyman actors in the 60s and 70s was doing. But then here comes Death Wish. Ooh.
Now, I've never seen Death Wish, of course. Can you sum up the plot of Death Wish for me?
Oh, God, I haven't seen it for so long. Here's all you need to know.
Okay.
Charles Bronson, stud.
Okay.
Slaughters losers. That's every film.
I like it.
And he talks like this right here.
Really? He has like a southern accent?
No, it's like, hey, I'm going to get you. No, he's actually, I think he's partially Hispanic or something like that. I'm serious. I'm not lying. But he has a real nasally kind of voice. Hey there, fella, I'm going to get you. You know, I'd say something cooler than that. Like, I get a Death Wish. How about that?
All right.
That's my Bronson.
I'll buy it.
You know, go watch some of his stuff too. Basically, he's got a big gun. He shoots suckers. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
You know, and so lo and behold, Death Wish 3 comes out, and of course they got to make a Spectrum and C64 game about it, because why not? If Airwolf's getting the game, you know, and Highlander's getting the game, then why not Death Wish 3, which probably got more money than those.
That's true.
You know, so I've not played this game. I don't usually try to skip ahead since we're playing the Sinclair stuff. But look at this guy, by the way. If you're watching the video,
you think
one of
he's
the
got
stupidest villains I've ever seen. What? This guy's got a red line on his head with sort of like a minus or a equal sign.
It looks like he went a little crazy with the sunblock, the black sunblock the football players.
In all honesty, who could be scared of that guy?
Yeah.
What a geek.
Yeah.
That's the guy you give the old wet willy. That's why this is called the willy in the title. You give it to him. So this is your classic.
Is that John Candy?
No.
Oh.
What? The Hispanic, like the Mexican John Candy? No. So there you go, Death Wish 3. If this is your favorite film, you should absolutely check out the video game, and you certainly should check out Dreamcatcher's article on said game. Looks bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Aaron,
look at Bronson's hair, by the way. I would kill to have that hair.
Me too. That's got to be fake. That can't be his.
You don't think
real
that's
hair.
his real do?
No.
It's just like a bowl cut, but he never got it cut again.
It just looks like hair dropped out of the sky and landed on his head. That's what it looks like.
It does. You're right. You're absolutely correct.
Aaron, I hear it coming. The gamble train's pulling up to the station.
Oh, not this thing.
Yes. The weary wail of the gamble train's siren has landed upon us once again.
The weary wail? How long did you sit down to write that one?
Hey, they don't call me.
Yes. I'm waiting.
They don't.
You're not a shipwright or a playwright.
Yeah. Let's talk about this week's 10-minute Amiga Retrocast.
I heard of him.
This week, Doug, our boy, is giving us the report of what happened over at Ami West. So,
it went down.
If you're at all familiar with Ami West is the West Coast Amiga convention that goes down every year. I'm pretty sure that Doug drove something like 13 hours to go to Ami West. So he is heavily committed to the scene.
I haven't seen this one yet either.
And as you can tell, this thing was a happening.
Well, it looks lightly attended.
Hey, you take what you can get over in Ami West. It looks like the Aeon folks were there. I think Trevor Dickinson might have been there.
I'm pretty sure. Now, if you listen to Pixel Gaiden, those fellas talked about going to one of the meetings for Ami West, so I think they were going to the actual show.
That's exactly right. In fact, I think that there's a picture somewhere in this slideshow of Doug and the Pixel Gaiden guys, the boys, Eric and what's his name? I shouldn't have even asked.
I want to see. I'm just gonna hang you out to dry.
So, but anyway, if you want a full Ami West report,
that's a great. You really did a good job freeze framing. You've captured Tin Mark in his most beautiful.
Yeah.
What a freeze.
Yeah. Make sure you check that out.
Yeah. And Pixel Gaiden too. I'm sure they'll do a big rundown.
Yeah, and I'm sure Hoffman is his last. Man, why can't it's like I want to say it's Cassidy, but I know that can't be true. That's not like a real name.
What are you talking about?
The other guy in Pixel Gaiden.
I'll remember here in a minute.
Yeah. There's a new game.
Hoffman?
Cody.
That's right. Well,
Cody.
I was wondering where you were getting that. Hoffman's. That's a whole other story.
No, but that's his last name. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, there's a new game, Aaron. It comes to us from Indie Retro News. Of course, Neil being #1 on the scene all the time, and our man, Saberman.
He's always on the scene.
This is a game called Ninja Zombie Killer. Okay, this is a game that will only run on your higher end Amigas, your 1200s, your 4000s, and of course any edition of the Vampire that you care to purchase.
Oh, it'll run on the 6820 with 8 meg. I could do it. I could actually run this one.
Okay, well this was written in with the Red Pill engine, which is
Ooh,
popular.
Red Pill.
I think the real Bruce Lee was also written in this too.
Yeah.
This is a game. I can't say that this game exactly,
High-end Amiga, you say?
Yeah, it doesn't really make me run out and buy a high-end Amiga just to play it, but it is cool that stuff is being developed.
Zombie looks cool.
The Red Pill engine is certainly allowing a lot more development than might otherwise occur. So this is your standard sort of I call it a Ghosts and Goblins style game, a very basic Ghosts and Goblins style game where you're running across a cemetery and you're of course killing zombies because you are a ninja zombie killer. So. Yeah, check that out, and definitely check out Indie Retro News for any new developments.
I think this is a great matchup because you got zombies, right? And Roy, I'm not sure if can you think of a movie off the top of your head where ninjas took on zombies? Ninjas in a movie, not a video game.
It's an idea so good I can't believe nobody's done it before. Maybe this is the catalyst.
We've seen pirates take on zombies.
Have
Why
we?
not ninjas? Yeah,
the Johnny Depp movie.
That's right. So, but ninjas they're out in the cold now that they're in.
Yeah.
I like the backgrounds. There's multi-layered scrolling. The scoring lettering looks like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Always a plus. Your ninja looks pretty cool. The zombies come out of the ground, pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm on board.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Aaron. The WOG has been added again. The November 2019 Westchester Amiga user group was large and in charge over at the mall food court.
That's where you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we got some pictures up here from Twitter of the gang all together.
Looks like what's this dude died.
He moved to Florida.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the same
But I mean,
thing.
still, look at that. The way they're going to put him in there?
That's the way they always put him in here.
With little wings?
Now, this is interesting, Aaron, because this is the exact copy of Retro Gamer that I keep in the downstairs bathroom for reading time. This is the exact issue that I keep in here. So this is from way back when they used to have the cover disc. Remember we talked about the cover disc last week?
That was before I was involved.
Yeah. This was Retro Gamer Mark 1, back when only the cool kids were involved.
The rich kids, what you're saying.
Yeah.
So this is in your can?
How
long has it been in there?
4 or 5 years. How long have I lived here?
In all honesty, you need to circulate the mags out of the old bathroom.
I don't know.
Then because you're getting into a whole weird area.
Well, it's already weird.
They've seen too much.
That's true. But this looks like a really cool time. I know that they were looking at.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were demoing Rygar, the new Rygar that just came out for the Amiga. So if you are in the New York area, make sure you check out the Westchester Amiga user group. They're a real friendly group of folks for sure.
We're gonna get up there one of these days.
Absolutely. Next up, there was no Ravi Abbott and DJing. No Ravi Abbott on the mic this week, Aaron. But to compensate, to fill that Amiga-based rave in your soul, I offer you Hoffman. It's a live Amiga DJ set and chat. This is Rave in the Cave 3, Aaron.
I like it.
They sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
This Hoffman has quite a name in the scene. I knew of him. I don't know much about his efforts. So
Retro Man Cave has been hosting these dance parties in the cave lately.
You're kidding.
Yeah, where people just come in, they DJ on their Amiga. The crowds just pour in. It's something like that.
I would love to see that.
This is happening in less than a day. It's live in 17 hours. Okay, November 16th at 11 a.m. If you're hearing this after the fact, I'm sure it will be archived on the Retro Man Cave page. Make sure you check it out. I think it's awesome that Neil is opening up the cave for all of these artistic explorations, and I will definitely be checking this thing out.
Retro Man Cave is like, he's everywhere you want to be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's doing it all. He's living like a storybook of life over there.
He is. It's amazing. All the stuff that he gets into, and I'm just totally envious. I'm envious of everything about him. His fame, his good looks,
his smooth voice, his NPR-like voice.
Yes, absolutely. So make sure you check that out, Retro Man Cave on YouTube.
He should do like good night stories for kids.
He should. Maybe he already does. Maybe
should.
That's a new thing.
Or something else I got is like books on tape, that stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
The Romulator is here,
man.
Aaron.
I think this also got covered on 10 Mark.
Yeah, so this was 10 Mark originally reviewed this bad boy. It has finally been released by our friend over at Amiga on the Lake. Aaron, the Romulator is $80, and it allows you.
It's a steal.
Yeah, it allows you to basically emulate different versions of Kickstarter. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. I wish. If only there's something like this could come out for the 1000, which I'm SOL. But this is a tight little package. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff, software-driven gimmick. You can change it on the fly. I likes it.
Yeah.
The 10 Mark preview made it look awesome. I think that's a fair price. I like the fact that it's being sold right here in good old US of A. Mm-hmm. Some sweet USA action, finally, local.
Finally.
And I think it's going to be a big success, I have no doubt.
Yeah. So make sure you check that out over at AmigaOnTheLake.com. Aaron, another community activity in the Amiga scene. This Sunday sees the final Norwich Amiga meeting of 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the final
I was
one ever.
stunned. Like, you can't fold up now.
And of course, this is at the most aptly named cafe of all time, the One Life Left Cafe, over at 21 St. Benedict Street in Norwich. You can join in the fun with probably one of the marquee Amiga. They're not really a user group, but just a group of guys that like to get together and play some games. I know that they stream this on Twitch. Make sure if you're in England, check this thing out if you're anywhere close to it.
Now, since I'm a dumb guy, geography-wise, Norwich is where?
No idea.
Nothing?
Absolutely no idea.
But
Norwich
you lived in England.
It might be a city. It might be a county. It might even be one of those nebulous villages.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like Cthulhu-like, H.P. Lovecraftian. Don't tread in Norwich. The people there aren't quite right.
Norwich is a city, according to people in the chat. So we've got that much down. And we know it's 5 hours from Pixels at Dawn. That's all you need to know.
That's it. Enough said. Head out to the meeting.
Blast Away, Aaron, is another new game that was released for the Amiga this week.
Ooh, what's this?
This is a game that's only available on the next-gen Amigas, your OS4s, your Morph OSs. This is also available on Windows, however, which applies to you and I.
Windows?
Blast Away is a highly playable and entertaining arena shooter, Aaron.
Ooh, arena.
Yeah. So this is a top-down affair, and it kind of looks like it's like Bomberman, but without the bombs. You're just kind of...
Now I don't like Bomberman. This looks like my kind of game. Mm-hmm. Run around shooting suckers in a big maze. There's a couple... What are the guys with the white T-shirts? It looks like...
This is your goon. Your garden variety goon. Yeah. You got to put a couple of those guys in there.
Gray beard, pants. Yeah, I like that. That's me in 2 years right there. Hunched over. Shoot me. Shoot me. I want to die.
Yeah, so you can check that out over at retream.itch.io.
Who's doing this bad boy? Does it have it in here?
It's Retream.
Have we seen Retream before?
That's it seems like we should have.
They do. Did you scroll back up there? It says they got stuff on the C64, the PC. Not bad.
Yeah,
so they're
Amiga
covering
C64 and PC.
I'm guessing all these games here. If you go to this, where is it?
Retream.itch.io.
Itch.
Yeah, itch.io. That's one of those. If you're one of those people that don't like to buy games on Steam, they always get them on Itch. It's like the cool guy site.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I like it.
And finally, Aaron, I wanted to get you as someone who basically built their career on hacking into the plastic of an original Amiga.
I prefer a surgeon skill.
I thought you'd enjoy this. Someone has cut into the side of their original Amiga 1000, Aaron.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think they cut into the side of that drive.
Oh, okay.
As luck would have it, Boatster, I have done my own research on this gimmick here.
Okay.
What you got here, of course, any of the cool guys out there would know that the Amiga 1000, you can use the Amiga 500 stuff on it, except the problem is they put the slot on the other side, so it's sort of like upside down and backwards on the wrong side of the Amiga 1000.
So there is an expansion slot on the side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding? Amiga? You got to expand out. So what you got there is the ACA 500 Plus. See that little thing there? It's a super duper whammadine mega card for the 500. And what they've done is they've taken one of these old floppy drives that is dead, and they cut a hole up in that sucker on the side, and they mounted that card in it. So they push this up against the side of the Amiga to make it look like nothing's wrong. But in actuality, there's an expansion card in that sucker.
There's a lot wrong?
No, it's actually quite awesome. Now, I would go the extra mile and make it look like there's a disc in there, and then rig it up with a little speaker. And so you could, like when no one's looking, or when someone's looking, you can make it sound like noise is coming out.
Yeah.
Or I guess you could just throw your voice.
That's what I do.
What was that? Oh, that's that external drive. It's a weird sounder.
Your friends are sure to be impressed when your fake Amiga disk drive starts making sound.
You know, the thing is, anyone that could possibly care that you'd butcher that drive would know good and well that wasn't the sound
immediately.
It's like, wow, you got that drive button right up against your Amiga. Oh, you ripped a hole in that sucker, didn't you? But it looks good. I thought and that's also a good way to mount the car, because you can't just have the thing hanging out there. That's a big matzo ball hanging out the side of that
I
thing.
tell you, I love this. This actually ironically comes from our boy Amiga Love.
The love, yeah.
And he should have his own show.
You know,
They could call it the Amiga Love Show.
Or the Amiga. You should get with him, and you guys can call it Love Boat.
Oh.
And I'll sing the song, The Love Boat.
I love it.
But the one thing I like about this is, think about this. I have a drive just like that doesn't work. Right?
Yeah, you do.
I've got an Amiga 1000 just like that. All I need is the expensive doodad to stick up in that sucker.
The
I'm in.
ACA 500 Plus?
Oh, yeah. They're not mega expensive, but I'm cheap.
Yeah.
It's a dope. And plus, when you got the ultra whamming down Amiga 1200 kicking right there, it's like, man.
Look at this rug he's got underneath his table here.
It's
what
an
do you think about
ESD
that?
nightmare boat.
Yeah. You're not kidding.
Look at that fancy mouse, too. This is Amiga Love. He's not going to have some kind of... Listen, the guy's in the love. That's a love rug.
It is a love rug.
In the love shack. I like it. Good job, Love. I like that one.
Well, that's going to wrap up this week's Amiga news, Aaron. The gamble train is pulling away from the station.
That was a healthy amount of news this week. You were on your horse. This week, you're motivated. You're a motivated individual.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot going on.
What's been happening in the last 2 weeks? Just didn't care?
No.
I give up.
Really.
It's over.
Yeah.
The dream is dead. Come on, man.
I was the walrus. Now I'm John. All right, Aaron. Let's move on to this week's game. This week's game, of course.
Heimdall!
You know, Heimdall was a man.
Was he?
I mean, he was a dragon man.
A special man?
Maybe he was just Heimdall.
You're goofy. Listen, don't rag on Heimdall.
I won't. I never would.
They say Heimdall's a bad...
Shut your mouth.
Nevertheless, Heimdall. Now, I'm guessing, I don't think either one's ever heard of this or played it, but I know we've played this at least once because I remember those mini games at the beginning, so we must have played this on one of the Amiga-thons, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
And then we just probably sucked and just gave up.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd wager that we didn't get past the very first door that I got to. And I was happy to see in the places that you sucked as much as I did. Just trying to figure that out. So, Heimdall, the release in 91. This came on 5. Count them, 5 floppery
4 of
dudes.
those were the intro.
Yeah, I doubt that. This was published by Core. You gotta love the Core.
Very famous publisher.
Oh yeah, man, they did it all. And this was developed by an outfit called the Eighth Day. You know why they're called that? Come
no.
on, it's biblical, right?
So it's like the day after God rested.
He just kept, God went into programming.
Yeah. Okay.
And this was the result. You wouldn't think God would produce a game based on the Norse.
It makes you wish God would have rested on this day.
Oh, now listen to you. Don't tip your hand, boat. Come on. So, 8th, they didn't do a hard on the Amiga, but they did do. Why I said it that way?
You're from West Virginia.
They did do Heimdall 2 and Premiere. That's pretty much all they had done on the thing here. Now, the boys responsible for this particular endeavor. You had your Dan Scott. Dan Scott worked on a game. Two games we've looked at in the past: Blast Star and Chuck Rock 2. Remember Chuck Rock 2?
I do remember Chuck Rock 2, Son of Chuck.
That's right. And you had your coder. This guy's named Jed Keaveney, and he worked on Heimdall 2. Then you had your graphics
Jed?
guy. No, Ged.
Oh, Ged.
It's GED.
I was going to say, there's nobody in...
This guy earned his GED in names.
There's nobody in Europe named Jed.
And then is this Welsh, these names? This guy's name's Jur O'Carroll. Jur.
I think that's probably Irish.
Jur? Is that a name? Have you ever heard that before? It's kind of cool.
It's like Jerry, short.
Oh, I see. Oh, very good. Okay. And then you probably noticed the music in this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the music's fine.
Martin Iveson. He was responsible for a couple of really good games, tunes. Agony, the game we'll never get to cover. Banshee.
We covered Agony like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of Awesome. My bad.
We'll never do Awesome.
Yeah,
that
that's
game's
the
horrible.
one. Banshee, Bubba and Sticks. It's like he did everything we've touched on. Chuck Rock 2, Deja Vu, Dragonstone, and Jag XJ220. Remember that one?
I do.
This was an ECSO guess. Now, I'll have to say, I emulated this game. I've got my Amiga stuff all disconnected for some wacky rewiring. But I read in a couple places that this game, at least originally, would not work on the 1200. In fact, it wouldn't work on any processors above the 68,000.
Really? So this is like a 500 only release?
Well, it was a 500. According to what I read.
Because I'm sure you need 1 meg.
According to what I read, it said it was a 500, 600 release. And it wouldn't, but they didn't mention like the 500 plus. In other words, it should have ran on technically. So I just only read that in one place, so I can't validate it. So what do you got here in the old Heimdall? I should mention this also got a PC release, Acorn Archimedes.
Oh yeah,
got to have that in there. That's still one of our.
One day we'll receive an Acorn Archimedes.
The Atari ST, of course, DOS, and this is one I thought you'd be amused by. The Sega Mega CD. Got a port of this.
It's like a CD.
Did you know that?
No.
Well,
that's crazy to me.
Don't that surprise you?
It does surprise me.
I thought I'd have to get more of a reaction, like, are you kidding?
Well, I mean, it is sort of a Midland game, and the CD
now
got a lot of those.
you're tipping your hand again here. So the gameplay begins with this intro video. And to summarize the intro video,
naked dude.
I knew that would be the first thing you would be drawn to, is that naked Viking.
At first, I thought it was a chick, and I was
What?
like, "Yeah." But
what
then
made you think that was a woman?
Because it's long hair.
These are Vikings, dude. Come on, give me a break. There was no braids in there. So
is that the difference?
That's right.
That's how you tell like a male dwarf from a female dwarf.
You've never been into the Scandinavian countries, have you?
Never.
Yeah, they'll tell you.
Okay.
So the very first scene, it goes in this long story of how the gods created man. They liked man. Man was cool. He used to talk to man. It shows a god holding a naked guy, and they're chatting.
That's how that used to happen.
How does that chat go? So,
how's it going down
looks
there?
Looks like it's cold down there. You know what I mean? You better put on some pants, bro. You're in my hand. That doesn't seem right. But they go into a long story about how the gods sort of got bored with man. It'll happen.
It does.
Who can blame them?
Yeah.
And so man was just chilling. We weren't involved. And then here comes Loki, the god of mischief and lies.
Right.
He rolls in. He steals all the 3 awesome Nordic godly weapons of coolness. Mm-hmm. He takes them, right? And so now it's time for the humans to hook back in. And so they basically task Heimdall with going back to get these 3 weapons. By the way, I never sniffed any of these weapons in this game.
No.
I don't know how many hours of play it takes. So then, once you get to this intro, And the intro is really not animated at all, is it? It's mostly still.
Yeah, it's not like the Super Frog intro where there's actually motion. There is some motion, but it's like Mr. T cartoon animation.
It's not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, the music's good, but the intro was like it was okay.
Right.
And it's not like Shadow of the Beast where you're gonna be like, oh, I can't wait to play
It
this.
doesn't get you pumped up. That's
But
for sure.
they saved the coolest parts for after that. When you go to your character design, now it gives you a couple of options. You can load a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just skip the character creation part, and it'll just, I guess, randomly pick it. But only suckers do that.
That's right.
If you're a real man, you go in for the character creation. Now, it doesn't just stick you in a gimmick. It pulls like an Ultima. You ever played the old Ultimas where it asks you a series of questions to see what kind of person you
Bard's
are?
Tale does that, yeah.
In this, it gives you 3 challenges, and as the better you do at the challenges, the better set of characters you'll start off with, right? So the first challenge is cut the bar winch's braids. They got a bar winch stuck in a freaking gimmick. Mm-hmm. The rack. What's that thing called?
It's like a circular rack.
No, it's not the rack. It's the. It's a thing you throw
Wheel of
tomatoes
Fortune.
in. No, it's not that either. It's a. What do they call
Stocks.
it? Stocks. That's it. And
They're like circular stocks.
And they've got her she's got a haircut done by like an octopus because she's got braids out everywhere. And what they've done is they've got the braids like nailed to the boards. Mm-hmm. And so your gimmick is, and it says this in the docs, it's like, listen, you're Heimdall. We gotta cut these braids off of her head with an axe. Don't whack her. Oh, and by the way, you're liquored up. This is the start of the game.
Right.
Now the animation on this is gold. It's gold.
It's very good.
The chick's face, it looks like something out like like a Cinemaware type.
Mm-hmm.
It's real good. Mm-hmm. And so you're basically moving the cursor with this joystick, trying to throw your axe and break these braids. It's awesome. That part's great. And then the next part, catch the boar. All right.
You see this a lot in West Virginia. You have the grease pig contest.
This is how we actually have dinner. You got to go out and catch that sucker.
That's true.
Because it's time to eat. Mm-hmm. Go out and catch the boar. So you lumber around trying to catch the boar. It's okay. That's kind of fun. And then the third trial is the sword fight, or basically it's not really a sword fight.
It's not a sword fight at all.
It's like go through these swords guys to get the gimmick.
Right.
And
then
come
retrieve
back.
the gimmick.
Right. I was horrible at this one, by the way.
I made it through one time, but the second time I didn't.
watched a sucker play this on like a go through, and he just bebopped this he did all these like it was going out of style. I'm like, look at this guy. I was not him.
So let's take a break here. At this point, I was fired up about Heimdall because I was like, man, mini games that are cool.
I remember
catching the grease pig.
I
That's
remember
cool.
the part with the axes. Mm-hmm. I remember because that's one of the best things I've ever seen on him. He looks great.
Yeah. So I was fired up when this game started because I thought this was going to be like a collection of Nordic-based mini games.
That's right. So there it is. So there you go. You're in. You start your character creation. Now, can you? And I can't explain this because I never did that well at the opening things. Can you explain the differences in the characters you get if you do well at the trials versus the ones that you get? Do you get a totally different set of characters?
Absolutely not. I don't believe that your characters ever change. Perhaps their vital statistics might change in some way. But
because I looked in the docs, it doesn't really go into it a whole lot.
Yeah, they could have put that in there and made no difference whatsoever. Let's continue to talk about the game because I want to revisit this later on.
Oh, okay, you're working on it. So anyway, then you make your character. Now, make is not really what you do. You pick a character. Mm-hmm. You pick a bunch of characters. You have a total of 3 characters you're playing with, and they've got all different skills. You got fighters. You got sorcerers. You got shipwrights. I knew you were going to bring that up. A navigator, a blacksmith. You get all kinds of guys. So if you're me, who do I pick? Fighters and a wizard. You pick 6 guys.
It doesn't matter. Here's what you pick. You pick Heimdall and you pick 2 tomato cans. That's what happens because Heimdall's the only guy that's worth anything.
Well, maybe that for you. I like to have some guys that can get some other stuff going. So always have to have the shipwright. No, I don't. I mean, I guess
maybe.
So once you pick your guys, it gives you this overworld map. This is when the fun really begins, and by fun I mean not fun. Because one thing you're going to learn about this game is that, and this, I'm not going to rag on the game because this is sort of a game of its era. And in a lot of ways, it does a lot of stuff right. But there's a lot of needless clicking and menu hopping in this game. And even with the opening thing, there's a big map. Now, logic dictates put maps down, put the mouse over the map where you want to go, click the button. No. You got to click the thing in the corner, and it says, okay, and it tells you what to do. Then you got to close that, and you got to click the land.
Oh, my gosh.
And this game is all about that. There's a lot of that. So once you've chosen, now I always went to the closest island, because at least I'd been there enough times that eventually I could get through it. You got the closest island, and then your guys putter across the island. Now, I did not play this. I don't know if this ever happens, but I didn't play it long enough to where my boat was attacked. I don't know if that even happened.
No,
Did you ever have that happen?
I watched I skipped around a long play to watch because this is a very long game.
Yeah.
This is one of the longest games that we've ever covered on this show in terms of the amount of hours, because this guy,
there's a lot of content.
Mr. World of Long Plays, goes pretty much straight through this thing. It takes about 5 hours from beginning to end to finish this thing.
So you take your boat and your Viking ship, I guess calling it a boat undersells it. You get in your Viking ship and you drive the ship or pilot it or whatever, you captain it. How's that? I know I'm not as up on the boat terminology as you are, so stop me when I'm wrong. Anyway, you pilot your boat toward whatever island you want to go to.
You sail it.
Sail it. Then you get out of the boat and bam, you're in the first basically dungeon. All right. So then you come to like the second part of this game, which is the dungeon crawl. Is that fair to say?
It is. It's the dungeon crawl.
Now, the dungeon crawl is divided into a couple of different sort of subsets. But one of them is you're going around and you're finding stuff and you're opening treasure boxes and you're occasionally trying to find a secret door, something like that. And you're also finding loads and loads and loads and loads of traps and pits. This sucker is pitted up. There's more craters in this thing than on the moon. And I don't mean just the first map. I mean, they're all over. And some of it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Now, there are spells you can get to help you out.
Yeah.
But you make sure you got a guy that can read scroll. That's why you always have a magic guy.
Well, no, Heimdall. Heimdall can do it all.
Well, I'm just saying, it always helps to have a backup. I like to have a
Listen,
magic
man,
guy.
if Heimdall dies and Siggo the Wizard is taking the sword, you're not going to last too long.
Well, I know. So you've got to avoid these pits when you can, and sometimes you can't. I mean, sometimes you have to work an angle.
Well, you got to cast the scroll that makes the pit go away.
So then there's also you've got your treasure grab, you've got your pit and trap grab, also some of the treasure chests are trapped. There's traps like poison darts and arrows and electrical stuff in there, and then you've also got opponents, foes, monsters, young warriors, all kinds of crazy goose. So then you go into a crazy Heimdall combat zone.
Okay, so before we talk about the combat, we should also mention that this game takes place entirely in a 3/4 isometric perspective. So when you say dungeon crawl, this isn't a game like Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
And it's also not a game like Rogue, where it's a totally top-down. So the dungeons are, everywhere you go, you can see almost the whole room, but not quite. And let's talk a little bit about how these rooms are outfitted. Okay?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So you basically have your brown dungeons, and then you have your purple dungeons. The purple dungeons, I guess, are more underground. They're all kind of lit by the same torches, and they all are endlessly repetitive. This is really where the game falls flat for me, because these islands are just massive. They're incredibly large, and the game does nothing to bring any flavor to each individual island. At least none of the ones that I visited. The rooms are mostly completely barren. There's not like random stuff on the walls or anything like that. It's just, it looks like dungeons, which I guess it's supposed to be, but it's incredibly barren, and it doesn't make traversing these areas very fun, because you're basically seeing the same thing over and over again.
I actually like the look of this game.
I don't dislike it.
I think it's there's not as much variance as I would like.
There's none. There's none variance.
But you're gonna mock me the reasons I like a game like this. I'm gonna tell you why. It's basically dumb guy simple for the dumb guy. It's not deep.
But you can make it just as dumb guy simple. But man, put some bookshelves in the dungeon, or put up some like guys hanging on the wall or something like that.
The problem is if you play a lot of D&D, a lot of these dungeons look alright. I'm not. Yes, you're right. I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but it wasn't like a deal breaker for me. All right, I liked the way it looked. I thought it's just cartoony enough and just serious enough to be. It's got a niche, right? It's cool.
I don't have anything against the art style at all. I think the art style is great.
We should mention you only see one guy when you walk around. You don't
Lame
see three.
is what we call that.
Well, here's my thing, and maybe you'll be on board with this. I would much rather just have one guy do the mission.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Give me Heimdall.
Yeah, and screw the other guy.
Yeah, right.
I guess that's sort of like having extra lives.
Because here's what the extra guys are really for. They're what's called inventory bags. Because in this game, you're constantly having to reshuffle your inventory around because you get a ton of stuff, and all of it is useful. There's not like anything in this that's a red herring. You're either getting scrolls, you're getting keys, you're getting food, or you're getting gold, and you constantly have to shuffle this stuff around the 3 guys that you bring with you to the island. But that's really the only thing that they're there for.
And I agree, and we'll get to that inventory in a minute, but I want to get back to the combat for a minute in Boatster. Now,
let's talk about the combat.
I don't know how far you got into this.
I got pretty far.
Did you get to a point where anyone rushed you for combat or anything? Okay, I was wondering about that.
I don't think that happens in this game.
I didn't think so either. So when you initiate combat, basically a dude will be, or a thing will be standing.
And by standing, he'll just be standing.
Like,
he is complete.
It's like a boat was just standing over there, and I walked up the boat and said, "Hey, let's go, let's fight."
And I said, "It's time to initiate combat."
Yeah, that's right. You would have to say it. I would walk up to you and be like, "Okay, we're gonna fight." And I'd be like, "What?" So this combat is interesting.
And by interesting, I hope you mean impossibly horrible.
Wait a minute. Now you're so you know what this combat reminded me of?
What's that?
Punch Out. It was very similar to Punch Out.
Okay.
You basically this is a role playing game with twitchy combat.
That is true.
And it's the kind of combat that you do in Punch Out.
Well, okay.
In Punch Out, when you see a guy wind up and you time your punches and you time your blocks. And you block and then attack. That's exactly what you do in this.
Right, okay. So you're right, but imagine Punch Out with only one tell and only one punch. And that's what you've got. And imagine if instead of just hitting a button to punch, you actually had to click the mouse twice. You had to click on the weapon you wanted to attack with and then click attack, all within a very short amount of time.
It ain't perfect. I'll grant you that. But the combat, I know, I read a lot of people talking about it, and the combat, it seemed like it's universally despised.
Yes.
And I will admit, when I first started playing it, I'm like, hey, I universally despise this. But the more I played it, I will say it did amuse me. But this is a gutsy move from the producers of this. It's like, because you'll recall, if you play any of these role-playing games, if you put any twitchy stuff in there at all, people lose their minds. Or same thing with like a Monkey Island or something like that. One of those like a graphical
Well, this
adventures.
is not the same as Monkey Island. This is more like your Dungeon Master. This is a crawler that's in an isometric perspective. I'm just saying, and those games all had real-time combat too.
Well, this is really strange, weird. Have you ever played a dungeon-type game that had this kind of combat?
No, because I've never played one this bad.
Well, no. That's not the point. Don't judge. I'm just asking.
That's what we're here for, man.
Don't judge yet. I'm just saying, have you ever played a game that had combat like this that was this sort of game?
No.
It's unusual.
Yes.
You'll either love it or you'll hate it. It is, again, this reminded me.
I don't know if anybody loves this game.
This is something that it reminded me also of something CinemaWare might try to pull off.
Yes.
They didn't do it, but this might.
I could see this, like the combat, I could see that appearing in a CinemaWare game as one of like the many games.
Right. Now, the combat is weird because it's either really easy. Like, I got pretty good at the combat, but then again, sometimes I would fight guys that were like really fast.
It just seemed really random.
And sometimes you'd walk up to a guy, you're like, oh, this guy looks like a stud, and he'd be a big puss.
Right.
You could crush him.
Here's another problem with the game. You can play this game for an hour and only see one or possibly two types of enemies. And they're all drawn in that same kind of boring style. That once you enter combat, the game seems to enter into a different graphical mode, I guess to display text on the screen or something, because the color palette is just the drabbest thing you can possibly imagine. Some of the enemies later on in the game are pretty cool looking. There's like giant spiders and stuff, but the combat itself never evolves. It's always the same thing. And I got different weapons, and I was like, well, maybe this will let me beat guys faster, but it didn't seem to. It seemed like no matter if I was using my sword or like the super mega awesome sword, it didn't make any difference.
I didn't have a problem with the combat screen, actually. I thought it looked okay. I mean,
Well, it didn't look bad, but it
I
didn't
thought
look
it fit
fantastic.
it was pretty much the same palette as
No,
the rest of the game.
it's not. Like if you look at Heimdall walking around right here and you count the number of colors on the screen, there is nowhere near that number of colors on the screen.
I thought it was okay.
Well,
I didn't
you got low standards.
I didn't. Oh well, maybe. Look who I hang out with.
That's true.
Bam. But the one thing, there is a lot of the sameness sort of thing. But this is the kind of game I can get into for two reasons. All right. One, I like dungeon crawling stuff, and I like the
this is your bag. I know you love this
stuff.
Two,
it's not complex. However, they sort of ruin it for me, which I'm going to get back to this. I'm going to get to it now. If you right-click on the mouse button, you go to like the character screen. Okay, I hate this screen because like if your guy's carrying a key, the door should just open when you click the door.
Oh, no, you're asking way too much, man.
Also, the food element to this is a pain.
What do you think you're playing, a console?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't want to have to go to a screen to open doors, to check for traps. At least it asks you for the trap thing, but it should ask you this. It should do the same thing for the key. It just should say, you've got the key. Do you want to unlock the door? Yes. Don't make me go to a menu.
But this was every game at this time.
You mentioned it, distributing the food, I mean, that's the stuff I don't like. Listen, I'm not in this to be a bookkeeper.
Right.
I want to kill suckers. I want to run them through.
Right.
Winches, booze, the whole 9 yards. That's what I want. I don't want to be an inventory guy. Ugh, can Billy hold this much gold?
Yeah.
Screw Billy. I want to kill stuff.
That's right.
So that was sort of what brought this game down a couple pegs for me. I want action tonight. There need to be more cooler monsters. Also, the fact that you're walking up to creatures and then like, what kind of world is this where you politely attack a creature?
Yeah, when I walk into a room, I want to see the enemy that's there at least shuffle towards me in some way, not stand there like a statue.
And I was wondering if at some point, like later on in the game, like the combat got cooler or more interesting, or the guys rushed you. And I never got to a point where it did. And I will say, I got, how many islands? I managed to, of course, I use save states. I managed to get to like, I don't know, 7 or 8 islands, and I'd visit them. I wouldn't always beat them, but I'd get
them. One thing I will say in this game's favor is that it is an open world experience. You can go anywhere you want right from the beginning.
Yeah, I agree with that. And when combat's on, you could also just leave. You could try to leave.
I never ran. I just destroyed.
I know. I saw you play, and it was actually you did surprise me. Whoever someone had no idea what they were doing. You're like, I think it was Pixels. I was there saving your hind.
That's true.
So what do I think about this game? In summary here, this is a difficult one for me to put I can't say, hey, it's the best. I give it my full stamp of approval, but I think it's probably not bad. And again,
It's probably not bad.
Well, here, let me put it this way. I like to judge things. Full stop. But I like to look at stuff from the era it came out. This came in '91. Now, granted, there was some good stuff that came out before it.
There was all kinds of great stuff that came out before.
I think this is serviceable. Having played this now, this is one I could see myself going back to with a but. And the but is, I've heard that for all the things we complained about, they got all of it fixed in the sequel.
That's right.
The sequel is supposed to be the big dog of the series.
Right.
Now, hey, I'll give Core credit. If you're going to kind of semi-botch the first one and you come back hard and strong in the second one, I can respect that. So somewhere down the line, maybe we'll look at the second one. But this one I thought was okay. I read a lot of people that sort of describe this as baby's first RPG, which is the term I like to throw around. And that's, I can see that. Like, I can see maybe getting Luke in front of this. It's not.
This would keep Luke's attention for about 2.1 seconds.
Oh, Luke likes these sorts of games. He could probably get into it. But I mean, my point is, it's not super gory or anything. It's something that's kind of fun. The
Heimdall doesn't have a whole lot of personality either. He sort of saunters around. He shuffles.
Oh, what do you want him to do?
Well, here's what I want. I want more in-game dialogue. I want more towns. I want more shops. There are shops in this game. You do get gold for a reason, but you don't see those shops until you're pretty far in. I want to have a town that
I saw one
This
shop.
needs to be like D&D, where you start the game in a town. You can walk around the town and talk to people, get a flavor for your character, then dive into the dungeon. When things get hairy, you jump back out and go back to the town.
I disagree. I don't like those games. I want to get right. Granted, that's more D&D like.
Yes.
But I want right into the action. I don't want to screw around in
well,
town.
You're not really a D&D guy.
Are you kidding me? I am the D&D freaking master. Let's have a look at any parting thoughts before we run down the reviews.
Hit me with the reviews.
Oh, I should mention one thing I read on one of the, I think it was on the Hall of Light. I love Hall of Light. Let's see, Hall of Light, Lemon Amiga, double, triple love for those sites. They're great. They mentioned that in the original version of this, before they toned it down, the scene where you're throwing axes at the barmaid was real super gory.
Oh my gosh.
So apparently you were just cracking this broad right upside the head with an axe.
Yeah,
so
good move on taking that out.
And she's a cute little thing too. You don't want that.
No.
I can see a bunch of drunk Vikings putting a chick like that in the gimmick, chaining up her things, and I bet that actually happened in my mind.
Maybe in your mind.
You don't think so?
I don't know. Maybe so. Vikings did all kinds of horrible stuff.
They did some crazy stuff. They were drunk. What are you going to do? So the good folks over at Lemon, the aforementioned Lemon, gave this a 8.01. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Your at the time Magazinis, your Amiga Action 27 in 91 gave this a 91. Pretty good. Amiga Computer gave it a 90. Amiga Format gave it a big 88. Amiga Power gave it an 86. CU Amiga, get this one, but 96. They love this freaking game. The One gave it a 92. So this is a straight up A player right here. So the magazines are leaning more towards me than they are you on this one. What do our good people have to say? Anybody send in a review on this
Absolutely. The one and only Chris Full says, excuse me, I thought I had...
You blew yourself out there, didn't you?
I thought I had fond memories of this game, so I put it on the AGSC list. So this must have been Chris's game on the game selection committee. Sadly, it was the second one I liked, which fixed what I hated about this one, which is the combat system.
Oh.
An utter shambles. Lovely graphics, most boring intro in gaming history, and thankfully people saw the potential and fixed it in the sequel. 4.5 out of 10.
Oh.
Lobsterminator. Congratulations to Lobsterminator, by the way. The big thin machine.
I saw the party
getting
going
into
on.
the Europe Cup for the first time in forever.
Did you see his pimp-like mug?
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like
flagon.
the golden chalice he was drinking wine out of. That's the way you do it.
Yeah,
man.
it is. I got this as a Christmas present back then. This means I was forced to try to like it, but it was not easy. Awesome graphics. That happened to me with an NES game. I'll tell that story later. Awesome graphics, lackluster gameplay. The mini games in the beginning were fun enough, but after the actual game starts, there's no variety in gameplay and it's not deep enough to function as an RPG. It would have been cool if they brought back the starting mini games inside the actual game, except now it's for real. It had the makings of a good game, but failed in execution. 5 out of 10. I'm right with you, Lob. It would have been great if they would have just put in, even if they would have just changed the graphics up but kept the same mechanics to save on coding. I would have loved some of those mini games in the game itself.
Or more mini games.
Yeah.
I've been okay with that.
What I really want is like a Winter Games, except just call it Viking Games.
That's got to exist.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Treguard says, good graphics, although one questionable game mechanic apart from the fun... although some questionable game mechanics apart from the fun mini games. It's fortunate that we were lucky to get a far superior sequel. 5 out of 10.
I see a trend here, Boat.
Pixels at Dawn. This game could have been so good. The graphics have that classic core design quality and it is an interesting quest, but the combat just kills it. Replacing it with a turn-based combat system would have been much better. The game is also slightly janky even on real hardware. Still, it plays fairly well. I just hope the sequel improves matters. 6 out of 10. And finally, Graham W. Vebke says, you can see the makings of a good game developing here. The graphics are nice and you don't need to sink a lot of time into this for not much reward. Trouble is the mechanics aren't as polished as some of the other RPG games we've covered and it just is not fun either to explore or participate in combat. Let's play the next game in the series. 5 out of 10.
So I'm the only one that slightly liked the combat.
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was kind of. Hey, I love Punch Out. That's what it's so much like
There,
that.
it is. You are spitting in the face of everyone that worked on Punch Out when you say that.
What are they gonna do?
Well,
nothing. That's what.
Yeah, they're mostly passed
They'll
on
learn
now,
real
so
Punch
you're insulting
Out.
the dead.
That doesn't work in real life.
All right, Aaron. Yeah.
eBay.
Tell me about it.
$18 to $33.
Okay. Affordable.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Maybe.
It probably has cool box art. In fact, we know it does because it was up there on the screen a second
If it doesn't have a naked Viking on the cover, I'm not interested.
As we wrap up the show, I do want to give everybody a quick Amiga Ireland update. The tickets have been purchased, Aaron. The plane tickets have been bought. The hotel has been booked. I'm officially a go for Amiga Ireland 2020. However, it is not wait to financially support this endeavor. If you'd like to go to my GoFundMe page at Send Boat Back to Amiga Ireland, I'd love any additional financial support. I'm hoping to bring basically a whole mini studio with me over there.
I heard something about that.
Yeah, so I can capture even better than last year, which wouldn't be hard. That was a low bar last year because I didn't know what I was getting into.
I thought it did well. Though.
Well, I tried my best.
Listen, this is going to be an epic event. I mean,
Yeah.
a bigger venue, right?
Yeah,
More people,
Yeah.
more look it up antics, everything.
absolutely.
You need a crazy little studio to get down there, and plus you're going to be doing some. You almost sort of emceed parts of that last year, didn't you? I mean,
Well, more to come.
I
there's-
see.
yeah.
Inside information. All right, man.
So, but
Ha
Edmund asked, when are you making the trip, Aaron?
Oh man, you never know. Someday that's the dream.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to thank our Twitch Prime subscribers, Aaron.
Oh, Twitch Prime.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds good.
Okay, do you know what that is?
I do. I'm one of those people. I
Okay,
think,
you are one of
actually.
those people.
Are you going to thank me?
Yes, I am. In fact,
Finally, recognition.
on if you are an Amazon Prime person, if you're a person of the Prime, I believe they're called, you can log on to Twitch and you can support us. You can subscribe to us for nothing, and it helps support the show. Just like these fine people like Mohawk Ball,
Ooh,
6mmBRX,
White
Roushey MSX,
I know him.
Bumface Poo Hands.
Classy.
Uber Scuba Driver, Brother Bill, Picard 2010, The Devil Bunny, Peeplo, Go To Go Sub, G Webkey, I don't know who that is,
Oh, I know.
David Pick, Pixels at Dawn Gaming, Chris Folds, and Silverstruck 72.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. You know, what was that fella's name again? Read that one more time.
Bumface Poo Hands. We only attract the best crowd
Listen,
here.
Don't shake that guy's hand when you meet him.
Oh, and Brutal Barracuda. Thank you, Pixels at Dawn. Late arrival, Brutal Barracuda.
I saw Brutal in the chat today.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Brutal for a while.
Welcome back, Brutal. We missed you around these parts.
This guy, another guy, you check out his channel.
Oh, man.
He's got the skills to pay the bills.
He does.
You know?
He does.
All these guys have great channels. He's checking. We need to have a big list. Like everyone we know, they've all got channels that are awesome.
Yeah. Before we get to the Patreon song, Aaron, which is what everybody tunes in for in this show, we should talk about what we've been up to on our YouTube channel.
That's a wise choice because what we haven't been up to is live streaming on there.
That's
But
true.
everything else, we're still.
Hey,
forward.
like I said, that we're very much at home on the Twitch. Aaron, let's kick things off with the Amigos Monster Mystery unboxing.
Oh yes, this looked awesome, and
This was another package from Germany from our boy Roushey, and he sent a
He took care of
huge.
business.
I mean, this is 3 more boxes on top of the 5 boxes that he sent us last time.
Yeah.
Full of Spectrum tapes, full of gladness and joy, and of course the big one at the end. Nothing but a ZX Spectrum 128, an Amstrad CPC 464,
oh man,
and a PAL. Look at me. Look at how I sport that.
I like it. It's almost like a ghetto blast.
Yeah,
here
not
on
a
the
lot of
shoulder.
people can get away with
No
holding
one
the
can,
CPC
including
like
you.
that. Yeah.
Horrible.
Now I will tell you, Aaron,
Yeah.
that there was a little something for old A in that package.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Most
Yeah,
of
it's
that
at the
stuff.
house. It's got a Spectrum plus 2. It's sitting in front of my bed.
This was expressly for
Oh
you.
boy.
Aaron.
All right. Thank you, Roushey. Oh, look at that. There you go. Oh, how nice. That is decorative, boat. Let me show the people what.
Look
this
at that.
is.
You got wheelie right on there.
I know. Look at that. Put me on still store cam, bot.
You're already on.
Look at that. Isn't that nice?
No, I can't see to move the
You
switch.
don't need to see nothing. Look at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roushey. That's very cool.
All the hits on there.
Oh man.
All the hits.
I'm gonna fill it up with some booze and I'll be ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely. But that's not all, Aaron. There was also a lot of gameplay to be done on our channel last week. We finally published the our playthrough of Mule from several weeks ago.
That didn't go too good for old A.
Well, you know, it was a learning game. As
Was
they
that
say.
what it was?
Yeah.
We've already covered this once.
So
This is why ARG started slow right here.
yeah, we played through Mule. Unfortunately, we only played the beginner's version. We didn't get into the more interesting advanced version of Mule, which I'm sure we'll cover next time.
Oh man.
But it was a lot of fun to go over to the room of doom, Aaron's computer room full of role playing books and donuts.
You can see all the cool stuff in
Yeah.
the background there.
Yeah.
There's my big stack of computer games that between Rushi and other people who sent us stuff, plus the stuff I got from California.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out. It's a good time. What about the Atari Falcon, Aaron? Was that this week's ARG?
Hey, this is people wanted to know. They wanted to know about the Atari Falcon. Let me tell you something. I shan't tread this way again. This was a 2 weeks in the making because the Brent was sick and myself to a certain degree.
Now listen, we're looking at this video of Road Riot 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
This looks pretty darn good. This looks better than anything on the Amiga.
You're watching the game. You're not playing. First of all, no. No, it doesn't. And secondly, it's not.
Look at that. It looks like that buggy that can talk.
No. You mean Speed Buggy?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not that good.
And it's
but
got a gun.
It's like Road Blasters, except crap. And Brent's game, I will say, look at Brent's game, slightly better, but tell me this looks like anything that's not an Amiga game, Amiga 1000 game. Scroll forward a little bit there. Well, a little bit more. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Now
This is what your Falcon plays.
Yeah.
Now. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is no good.
Yeah, so I mean, it's actually not bad. It's a decent game, but nah. Hey, on the flip side, the Falcon does have a Atari Jaguar joystick port on it, so you
Hey,
got that going. And
that's
two
true.
MIDI ports.
That's true.
So if you want to learn about the Falcon, if you also want to hear Brent sound like the Godfather, this is the show for you.
I
right
did
there.
appreciate Brent's raspy voice during that episode.
Yeah, and it was no good. So, but we had a good time, and this week, oh man, am I excited for this one, dude.
What are you going to do?
This week, the Dick Smith System 80. The System 80. I'm going to tell you something. Secret verbal update for me, yet double thumbs up.
Cool.
Double thumbs
Cool.
up for me.
And of course, I have my normal stream on Saturday night where I stream all the games for the week, including all of our Coco shows, ZX Spectrum games, and of course a big Heimdall playthrough. So you can check that out.
And then that mystery video that no one can see.
That's right.
If you were paying attention there.
Tune in next week for that.
What a coup.
So last week, Aaron, the mystery song, the Patreon song.
Hideous.
Okay.
Yes.
Last week, the Patreon song was actually "Mom Is Home" by Rock and Roll Wolf.
Yeah. I don't know. What?
I'm just kidding. That was Edvin's guess.
Oh.
But that was not the actual answer.
Edwin, what are you listening to, dude?
The actual song was "Silly Love Songs" by Sir Paul. And people want to tell the world of
Listen,
silly love
they need to
songs.
rescind this guy's knighthood as far as I'm concerned. I'm not impressed.
What's wrong with that?
Hey, listen. I didn't like it. I don't like that song either.
There were a lot of people that guessed "Take on Me" because the sort of the middle eight of the chorus kind of has that same ascending line, but
He ripped them off.
"Silly Love Songs" was correct.
You need to stay out of that high register.
That's where I thrive.
Listen, that register loosens phlegm in the back of my throat. That's what kind of action you're getting. You should be stationed in an emphysema hospital or something.
Boy, I don't know. That might be kind of fun.
No.
No? If you know the answer to this week's Patreon song challenge, send me an email at john@amigospodcast.com.
Get your hearing checked, too, while you're there.
And we do want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, want to get some awesome swag and hang out with us on Discord, go over to patreon.com/amigospodcast. Or if you want to support us on PayPal, go to everythingamiga.com/support.
just send us a bunch of gold bullion in the mail.
Absolutely.
That'd be cool, too, or some, like, pirate booty.
Some of that Heimdall gold.
And some food.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to announce who got it. So, congratulations to the Slow Norris, who actually sent me quite a life-affirming message about my love for Sir Paul. He agrees with me. And Packbilly. Packbilly, I could sing, I don't know, Bach's Third Cantata, and he would somehow know it. He is a musical mastermind.
Man, that must suck for him then.
Yeah.
To hear you butcher these songs week after week and know what you're destroying.
That's true.
It's better if you don't know.
So congrats to the Slow Norris and Packbilly. Here we go. Bjorn Vinance and Terry Howard. Reflection, Simon Ledge. Cap'n Crispy Kilobytes in caffeine. Mike Deckard Threepwood. Gary Head, the free lunch Kate Fox. Dave Fox, David Pickford, Cameron Armstrong, Andrew Jones, Lobsterminator. Craig McClellan, 10-minute Amiga Retrocast. Bernard Quinn, Retro Man Cave, Tim Drew. Simon Rose, Joseph Harrison, Carletta, Rob O'Hara. Howard Nibbs, Matthew Larimore. Andy Craig, Sean Zoe, Darren Lomax. Colin 419, Bach Bid, Roland Burke, Andrew Monks. Joe the Zombie, John Cookleaf Killan, Alan Cab, Bob Chicote, Level John Marshall, Matthew Barron, Ricky DeRocha, Creepy Dead Boy, C Biggest CTZ, The Slow Norse, Stefan Sorgon Mortensen, Evan Helen Blinder 75, Christopher Hessel, Mad Abbey, Chris Folds, Dreamcatcher, Lauren Giroux, Graham Vebke, Lane Denson, Adam Battersby, O'Brien's Retro and Vintage, Gary Hooker, C. Brian Jones, Paul Harrington, Duncan Stiles, Tapes from the Crib, Josh Nan, Adam Bradley, Jonas Rulo, THT, Eric Nelson, Kim Tommy, Humbridge Todd, Daniel Bingston, Brutal Barracuda, Darren Coles and Jason Walms, Pixels at Dawn, and Kjolbjorn Barman.
Excellent work, Boat.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
Did you get that one?
Oh, I got it all right.
Oh, you got it.
Man, I got it. It hit me deep in the... way down. Oh, man. Coincidentally, I need to use the bathroom now.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Odd how that happens. All right, Aaron. Next week, we are going to be playing, get this, 4D boxing.
Oh, I've played this.
We've talked about this game for literally years. We finally get a chance.
Straight from the Punch-Out Heimdall to some actual punching.
Yeah, man.
Listen, 3D's for suckers, all right? If you want proper action, you got 4Ds,
That's
bro.
right. It's
Only
all
the
the
Amiga
Ds.
can pull 4Ds out of something. What is the fourth D?
Awesomeness.
Is it?
I think that's what Stephen Hawking said.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Your student is, are you?
I am. All right, guys. Thanks as always for watching. We want to thank all the fine folks here with us in the chat this evening.
Yes, thank them.
We record this show every Friday around 5:30ish. And you can join us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Amigos Retro Gaming. We got Paul Kitching in the house, Pixels at Dawn Gaming, Treyguard82, 10-minute Amiga Retrocast, 10 Foil.
That's the Brent.
That is the Brent, you're right. L. Curtis B.
Booyah.
Silver Streak 72, G. Vebke, the Graham, Ed Van Helen with a beer in the man cave,
Yeah.
Barkbit with a beer in Sweden.
Everyone's got a beer.
Hey, you guys!
Lobsterminator's got his wine. He was in here.
Do you guys like to drink? Sorry, I'll stop.
What is that?
That's Paul Stanley on the soundboard.
Is that what that was?
Brutal
Man.
Barracuda's with us. Muggy7. Man, Muggy7. I'm
Look,
so glad
he
he's
said
here.
that the first time I watched it, you were in the middle of one of your long notes when he said that.
So thank
Horrible.
you guys so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it, Aaron.
I've got an announcement.
Okay.
I am attempting to join the Twitter. I've always had a Twitter account, but I never used it. I'm making a concerted effort. If you want to add me to your gimmick, I am at the Devil Bunny.
Yeah.
All one word. That's how long I've been on there. I got that. So, yeah. Oh man, it's in demand.
It is.
So you want to, if it's at the Devil Bunny, add me to your Twitter, and then say interesting things that I can ridicule. That's my gimmick.
Oh, and of course, our Twitter handle, the show, which is really just me, is at Amigos Retro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because I asked people, do we have a Twitter for the show? And they were like, yeah. It's both. I'm like, okay. So God knows what you've been saying. How often do you use the Twitter?
I only go on there to attract. I only attack politicians on there.
Attract. I'm going to attract politicians.
Attract and attack.
That's the one.
It's my dual prong strategy.
Here's my gimmick on Twitter. Anything goes, but if I see any political statement for any candidate, I block it instantly. Whoever it was.
That's it.
I've blocked George Takei and all the stars. They're all blocked. I don't want to hear it.
George Takei is crying himself to sleep tonight.
I need a political-free Twitter zone. That's what I want.
That's what everybody
wants. I want people hugging, possibly loving, playing games. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what Twitter is, right? Lots of people just hanging and banging, being cool to
Twitter's
one another.
known for its positive contribution to society.
Right.
For
That's
sure.
why I'm there, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Until then,
Adios.